Breaking news regarding student loan forgiveness. The new student loan forgiveness plan has been unveiled by the Biden administration, and I'm here to give you all of the updates. Come on, tune in. If you are a federal student loan borrower, this is for you. There has been a lot that has been happening behind the scenes over the last 3 years. I'm going to get you all caught up, tell you about this new plan, tell you about the deadline on existing programs that are already available, and tell you what some of the next steps are so that you can be well informed. Go inform others and take the appropriate actions that you need to take on your behalf. So I see you all coming in. Just let me know who you are and where you're hailing from. Give yourself a shout out in the comments. I would encourage you, please, the best thing that you can do for us is to share out this video, tag another student loan borrower, because there's millions of borrowers that still don't know what is happening regarding student loan forgiveness, right? And they're going to be the beneficiaries. And for a lot of these things, there's actions you need to take, or there may be specific deadlines or specific programs you need to be in order to be eligible for some of these student loan forgiveness programs. And if you were oblivious, you're going to miss out. So while you hear everybody else getting their student loans forgiven because you weren't paying attention or nobody cared to inform you or share, then you're going to miss out. And we don't want anyone to miss out on the student loan forgiveness that is available to them. So let me just make sure I'm bringing in all of my audience because they are tuning in from various places. And we want to make sure that they're in here and they get this information. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And then also the references for this review is in the description. So you can find that and other resources in the description where the text is of this video. Ask your questions. I would try to answer as many as I can while I am live. And then I will always follow up after the broadcast to answer any follow-up questions. We also have a workshop, a student loan workshop that I did last year that covers every single student loan forgiveness program that currently exists. And if you have been struggling to navigate, you might want to pick up that workshop. It's $25. It is in the description of this broadcast, or you could just go to studentaid.gov. But we found that many people, even though you tell them to go place, then everybody is not able to navigate because there's so many programs and some people are just not technically savvy. So I try to give you information and break it down into layman's terms so that you understand. I don't get it so into the weeds where you don't understand and therefore you're hesitant to take any action because you're just so confused. So that's why I am here. So let me go ahead and get started to bring you up to date. Again, we are in April. Just to remind you, I have to take a step back for those that maybe you didn't know that last year in June, the Supreme Court struck down the initial mass student loan forgiveness or cancellation plan that the Biden administration had put out for nearly 43 million borrowers. That was last June. So that was basically almost a year ago. Immediately following that, the shutdown by the Supreme Court, the Department of Education and the administration began pursuing alternative pathways to debt relief for student loan borrowers. So this plan that I'm getting ready to talk about was done under the Higher Education Act, and it's through negotiating rulemaking. So they basically brought together a committee to come together and map out a plan for student loan forgiveness that would be beneficial to the majority, if not all, of student loan borrowers. Okay, so there has been a lot of things going on. They did not stop with that. And the one I'm talking about is when they were going to give this mass student loan forgiveness up to $20,000 for income households that were making under $125,000 adjusted gross income that was shut down. They didn't stop there. They kept going. That's why student loans have been forgiven. But they initiated this plan, and they just released this plan and the proposal so that you know everything that is going to be included under this particular plan. Now, if this plan is implemented, this will provide debt relief to over 30 million Americans when combined with the actions of the Biden-Harris administration with what they have already done to cancel student loan debt over the past 3 years. So let me say that again. The administration and the Department of Education has been canceling debt, student loan debt, over the last 3 years. So this may be new to some of you, but not new to all of you. So there's a difference in this process. So the new plan will target specific groups of borrowers. If implemented as proposed, the borrowers will see relief if they fall into a few different categories. And I'm going to expound on these categories in just a minute, but let me just give you the categories in simplest form. And what I want you to do is, as I'm reading off these categories, think about which category you as a federal student loan borrower fits into. So the first one are those who have balances bigger than what they originally borrowed due to interest. Okay? So put an emoji in the comments if that's you. Those who have a balance bigger than what they originally borrowed due to interest. The next one is those who already qualify for student loan forgiveness under existing programs but have not yet applied. You qualify but have not yet applied. If that's you, put an emoji in the comments. Those who have entered repayment at least 20 years ago. That would be me. 20 years, over 20 years at this point for my undergraduate degree. If that's you, put an emoji in the comments. Those who enrolled in new and low financial value programs, which left students in debt, but without good job prospects. Those of you that fall under that category would be included. And then lastly, those experiencing financial hardship. Okay? So this was just announced. The press release went out this week. And this is the initial draft, okay? So I'm going to further expound on these different areas. So again, we're talking about 5 different categories that you as a federal student loan borrower could potentially fall into. So let's talk about the first one. So the first one is canceling runaway interest for millions of borrowers. So more than 25 million borrowers who owe more than they originally borrowed, including many who have made years of payments due to interest rates on federal student loans. This applies to you. So what they're saying is if this is finalized as proposed, this would cancel up to $20,000 of the amount of the borrower's balance that has grown due to unpaid interest on their loans after entering a repayment, entering repayment regardless of their income. Regardless of your income. Regardless of your income. Low and middle income borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan or any other income-driven repayment plan will be eligible for the entire amount of their balance that has grown since entering the repayment to be canceled under the administration's plan. So this group of borrowers includes single borrowers who earn $120,000 or less, or married couples who earn $240,000 or less. There will be no application will be needed for borrowers to receive this relief under this proposed plan. No application. So what does that mean? It will be automatic. Okay? It will be automatic. I mean, how many people don't, who doesn't fit into that category? I mean, one of the biggest issues was the compounding of interest that caused student loans borrowers to blow up. I mean, you're talking about student loan borrowers that had took out a $10,000 loan. Now it's at it's blown up to 60,000. Well, under this plan, again, if you're not in SAVE, you're going to get up to 20,000. If you're in the SAVE program, you're going to get it all wiped out, right? So what does that mean? It is what I would encourage you to do if you are not already is to enroll in the SAVE plan. Enroll in the SAVE plan if you can, okay, as a student loan borrower. So it's saying that millions of borrowers who could be helped by these plans have continued to see their balances grow because of accrued interest, despite making their monthly payments, right? And many have also had unpaid interest capitalized, meaning it's added to their principal balance, and borrowers are now paying interest on a higher amount. And the administration plan will forgive the interest balance built up to date for 25 million borrowers, with 23 likely to have all of their balance growth forgiven. Okay? Now, the next one, automatically canceling debt for eligible loan forgiveness under SAVE, PSLF, closed school discharge, and other forgiveness programs, but not enrolled, okay? Meaning you qualify, but you have not enrolled, you have not applied. So too many borrowers eligible for relief, including immediate cancellation, have not been able to overcome paperwork requirements, bad advice, or other obstacles. Since its first days in office, the Biden administration has worked to get borrowers the relief that they are entitled to. So it says the administration is proposing automatically canceling debt for borrowers otherwise eligible for relief through the SAVE plan, public service forgiveness, or other forgiveness opportunities like the closed school loan discharges, but who have not successfully applied for that assistance. It's also saying that under SAVE, borrowers who originally took out $12,000 or less in loans and have been in repayment for 10 years are eligible to get their remaining debt canceled. So they started that early in February. It was supposed to start in July. Okay. For every additional 1,000 in loans they took out, up to 21,000 total for undergraduate loans and 26,000 for graduate, a borrower is eligible for relief after an additional year of repayment. For example, if a borrower took out 13,000 in loans, they would be eligible for debt cancellation after 11 years of repayment. That's why it's so important that we all know where we are in the timeline towards forgiveness and how long you have been paying on your student loans and have been in any of the repayment programs. It's also saying that under the public service loan forgiveness, borrowers in public service for 10 years who have made 120 payments, qualifying payments, can get their remaining debt canceled. It's saying that the administration plans would allow the Department of Education to use data it has on hand to identify borrowers otherwise eligible for this type of relief without requiring them to apply for these programs. The administration expects action will cancel debt for around 2 million borrowers across the country under this specific category. Okay. So the next category is canceling student debt for borrowers entered repayment over 20 years ago. Okay, so there are more than 2.5 million borrowers that had their share of student loans for 2 decades. If you had your loan for 2 decades, at least 20 years, put 20 in the comments. 20 years or longer and still carrying the debt. So the Biden administration has already canceled $4.6 billion in student loan debt so far for nearly 1 million borrowers who have been in repayment for at least 20 years, but never got the relief they were entitled to because of administrative problems with the income-driven payment plans. So the administration's new proposal, if finalized, would cancel student debt for borrowers whose first entered repayment 20 or more years ago. Borrowers with only undergraduate debt would qualify for forgiveness if they first entered repayment 20 years ago. This is on or before July 1st of 2005. And borrowers with any graduate debt would qualify if they first entered repayment 25 or more years ago on or before July 1st, 2000. So on or before July 1st, 2000. Both direct loans and direct consolidation loans that repay only undergraduate study or graduate study for 20 or 25 years respectively are eligible for relief in this proposal. Borrowers would not need to be on an income-driven plan to qualify for this particular program. So again, even if you are not enrolled in an income-driven plan and you have been in repayment on your student loans for 20 plus years, you will be eligible for forgiveness automatically. No applications needed. That's a lot of us. That's a lot of us. Like, I've been in repayment from my undergraduate now for 25 years. Okay, 25 years. So I'm in this category, people. So if you're in this category, put a 20 in the comments. The next category is canceling student debt for borrowers who are enrolled in low financial value programs. Now, this is important, okay? Canceling debt for borrowers who enrolled in low financial value programs. So it says once that the Biden and Harris administration's top priorities when it comes to higher education is holding colleges accountable when they leave students with mountains of debt without good job prospects. So to this end, the department has taken significant steps to crack down on colleges that provide low value programs to borrowers when they cheat students and families and when they close unexpectedly, leaving borrowers and taxpayers to foot the bill. Okay, so the administration has announced that if finalized, this proposed plan would cancel student debt loans associated with institutions or programs that lost their eligibility to participate in the federal student aid program or were denied recertification because they cheated or took advantage of students. Further, borrowers who attended institutions or programs that closed or failed to provide sufficient value, for example, that leaves graduates with unaffordable loan repayments or earnings no better than someone with a high school diploma would earn, would be eligible for relief under this particular proposal. Okay. Now, this one is not saying that it's automatic, and this may be like similar to the defense that you would need to apply for and show that you are eligible for this particular program. But that's a great program. So we heard and have seen the lawsuits for several colleges that fall into this category, that they found that defrauded students or said that they, after they graduate, they would have, a high paying job within 3 months or 6 months, and that never came to fruition. These are the types of schools that they're talking about. Okay. The next category is canceling student debt for borrowers experiencing hardship. Okay. Canceling debt for borrowers experiencing hardship paying back their student loans. So if you feel that you've fallen in this category, put hardship in the comments. So let me expound a little bit further. So it's saying that the administration recognizes that the current student loan system and repayment programs don't reach all borrowers. And for many American student loans continue to be a barrier for them participating in the economy, accessing economic mobility, or pursuing their dreams. So the administration plan for student debt relief will also include a plan that will cancel student debt for borrowers experiencing hardship in their daily lives that prevents them from fully paying back their loans now or in the future. So this plan could provide relief for millions of borrowers who experience hardship, such as borrowers who are at high risk of defaulting on their student loans, who could be eligible for automatic relief, or families who are burdened with other expenses like medical debt or child care who can apply for relief in the future. So this one, it looks like would be one that you would apply for, where you can demonstrate your hardship to be eligible for forgiveness through the hardship plan. So it's saying here that the administration plans to release proposed rules on these plans in the upcoming months. And if these plans are finalized as proposed, this will fall. This fall, the administration would begin canceling up to $20,000 in interest for millions of borrowers and full loan forgiveness for millions more. Okay, so this is under this particular plan we can expect. Now, I'm going to talk about what the next steps are, because with this, the proposal must undergo a public comment period and is part of the official rulemaking process. So borrowers and other stakeholders can weigh in on the plan until May 17th. So every student loan borrower can make comments, can review. So I put the document of the proposal, the full document of the proposal is linked. So it is always made available for you to review it and make comments on it. And then they waive those comments for a period of time before they're implementing the final rule. Once they implement the final rule, then they can start implementing the program. So again, we can see this as early as this fall. Now, it should be expected that there are people that are against student loan forgiveness, previous plans, existing plans, and this plan, right? So you can probably be assured that there's probably going to be probably some people that are coming forward to express dislike of this program. There may be some suits filed against this program, but that may cause potential delays. But again, if all goes well, the expected start of the rollout would be this fall under this new plan. When they talk about the feedback, that's open until May the 17th. So I encourage you all to make your comments known while you have that opportunity. The feedback, it says, could lead to changes in the final rule, which are expected to be published in the upcoming months. And then officials said that the goal is to start delivering again as early as fall. The first round is likely to go to borrowers who have accrued the high interest to get that down. And that's going to be significant for a lot of student loan borrowers. Again, just by doing that, it's going to clear out a lot of debt from millions of borrowers, just by doing that. So this is in addition to the other programs that are already existing and available. So that's the thing, is just wait it out, continue to be informed so that you know what is happening, participate in this open comment period for all that can. I would encourage you to do so. And then we're going to see the updates as we get closer to the fall, which is around the corner, because summer is almost here. Okay. So again, those are the categories these are the categories, as a reminder, that you would fall under in this plan. So a reminder, number one, those that have balances bigger than what they originally borrowed due to interest, those who already qualified for student loan forgiveness under existing programs but have not yet applied, those who entered repayment at least 20 years ago, those who enrolled in low financial value programs which left students in debt but without good job prospects, and then those experiencing financial hardship would be included in the plan. So this is significant. Okay, so to describe how significant this is on top of the forgiveness that has already gone out. So let me just recap that, because we want to congratulate those millions of borrowers who have already had their student loans forgiven, wiped out, cleared out, no longer having to pay back their student loans again. Okay, so what have they done? The administration has canceled over $62.5 billion in student loan debt for 871,000 public service workers, including teachers, firefighters, nurses, and more. Prior to the Biden administration, only 7,000 people in total have received debt forgiveness through public service loan forgiveness. That's crazy. And there's still many more. There's still many more of you that don't even know that you have qualifying public service hours that would make you eligible for the PSLF program. I would encourage you to go to studentaid.gov, use the employer tool to see if the employer that you work for 30 or more hours is included to make you eligible. And so that you can start on your way to getting that PSLF forgiveness. But to think, as long as these programs have been available, only 7,000 people had gone through the program and had their debt forgiven, and they were eligible. Okay, so the administration has approved $45.6 billion in debt cancellation for nearly 1 million borrowers through fixes to the income-driven repayment plan. So far too long, as a result of the administration failures and loan servicer errors, borrowers never got credit for being in repayment. So the administration has fixed that and has improved the debt cancellation for over 930,000 borrowers who have been in repayment for over 20 years. The administration has approved $22.5 billion in debt cancellation for borrowers cheated by their schools, who saw their schools abruptly close or who were covered by related court settlements. So the administration has approved borrower defense and closed school discharges to provide debt cancellation to students that attended and were cheated by for-profit institutions like Corinthian College and ITT Technical Institution. So less than $600 million in debt relief has been approved through the borrower's defense. Closed school discharges, related court settlements from the prior administration combined compared to the $22.5 billion approved under the current administration. The administration has approved $14 billion in debt cancellation for over 548,000 borrowers with a total and permanent disability. Through the automatic matches with Social Security Administration and other actions, the administration has approved debt cancellation for over 500,000 borrowers with total and permanent disabilities. The administration launched its SAVE plan, helping borrowers of all ages and walks of life manage their monthly payments, not charging interest for millions of borrowers, and setting a zero payments for 4.5 million borrowers every month. To date, nearly 8 million borrowers have enrolled in SAVE, and 4.5 million of them have a monthly payment of zero. That is due, meaning that they also are not accumulating interest that would otherwise be due. An additional million borrowers have monthly payments of less than $100. Already, the administration has canceled debt for 153,000 borrowers enrolled in the SAVE program, who took out low balances and have been in repayment for at least 10 years. Okay. So, and in July, the SAVE plan will cap monthly payments for undergraduate loans at 5% of income compared to 10% threshold now, which will save many young borrowers money on their monthly payments. So the administration continues to encourage borrowers to sign up for the SAVE plan. The administration secured its largest increase of Pell Grants in a decade and has expanded eligibility for a maximum Pell Grant to 1.7 million Americans. So the president has taken historical steps to bring college in reach for more Americans, including low-income Americans. And the president secured the largest increase of Pell Grants in a decade, expanded eligibility to Pell to 665,000 new students, and expanded the eligibility for the maximum Pell Grant again to 1.7 million students. And is also proposing making college free for more Americans can access the promise of higher education. So again, this is the plan. This is what has already taken place over the last 3 years. Student loan forgiveness has continued. Clean up of the system has continued to make forgiveness available for more and more students. I mean, you're talking about, I think one of the highest, one of the people that had the highest forgiveness was somebody that had a student loan debt that was $500,000. Just think, $500,000 in student loan debt to have that automatically wiped out. Oh my God. That is just so amazing. So I congratulate all of those that have already received forgiveness, but there are millions more that are on the path to forgiveness. Now that we talked about the new plan, we talked about what has already been done as far as forgiveness. Let me just give you a reminder on the existing student loan relief program, and the deadline. Okay. So this is another automatic program. So those that are on the income driven repayment plan, those that are also on PSLF, you have until April 30th, is days away, April 30th, to consolidate your federal student loan to a Department of Ed loan in order to be eligible for a one-time credit adjustment to get you closer to forgiveness. This is one time only, okay? So this initially, the deadline was initially set for December the 31st of 2023. The administration expanded the deadline to April. This is not when you apply. You must have consolidated by that time. But what I would encourage you to do, if your federal loan is not held with the Department of Education, to stop what you're doing today after this video, go and submit an application with your servicer or through studentaid.gov to have your loans consolidated so you are now eligible for these programs and for the one-time credit adjustment. So if you don't know the significance of the credit adjustment, let me help clarify really quickly. So there again, there was no counts. What they're doing is making these adjustments so that by July is estimated that July they will have an accurate count of all student loan borrowers and how many years you have actually been paying right now into the program. So if you're on IDR, like I've been on for years, but there's nothing nowhere where somebody is calculating how many years I've been on the program and how many more years I have till it's forgiven. So I've reached that 20 or 25 years, or with PSLF to when they have reached the 10 years. So what they're doing is giving these credit adjustments for federal student loan borrowers that say, okay, you would normally only qualify for the time that you were on the program, meaning the time you applied and were approved for the income driven plan. Okay. But no, we're going to go back and give you credit for time you weren't on the program. That means time that you were paying, times that you weren't paying, time that you maybe have been in hardship, time that you were in deferment, time that you were in forbearance. They're going to give us credit for all that time. That's how people are getting their student loans forgiven, because technically, if, say, for instance, you've been paying for 20 years, I'll use myself as an example, and let's just say I only applied for the income-driven plan 5 years ago. Well, that means I got another 15 years without the one-time credit adjustment. But with the one-time credit adjustment, it's going to get me all the way caught up. And so the expectation is that my student loans will be forgiven in the very near future, and that I am not stuck waiting another 15 years. Okay? So making sure that the counts are accurate is what they have been doing. So it will be fully transparent. So you will be able to see it. Your servicer will be able to see it. The Department of Education will be able to see it. And it's not a guessing game to decide if you're eligible or not. Okay. And then once you can see it, we can say, oh, is this correct or not? Like, then you can kind of trace it back. But this is huge. It's one time only. It's similar to the waiver that PSLF borrowers were able to get last year, or I believe last year, that ended in October. They have another opportunity through this program. So that's why it's so important to know what is happening and know what actions you need to take so that you can get your student loans forgiven. Now, there are parents with Parent Plus loans that don't know that they can qualify for forgiveness. You can get the one-time credit adjustment. Perkins loans can get the one-time credit adjustment. This is so significant because I've had so many parents asking me, like, trying to figure out what it is that can they do, because they took on the burden of the student loan for their children. But there is a pathway. You can get forgiveness, but you must consolidate. So I encourage you to get in touch with your servicer. That's what I did. I mean, I did a lot of research. It was a lot of back and forth, talking to the Department of Education, talking with my student loan servicer to make the decision to consolidate. Those of you, and I know it's a lot of you, there's a lot of people that graduated with me or around the time that I graduated, undergrad, that you won't be included in the one-time adjustment because your loan is still held with Navient or some private servicer. Yes, even though it's a federal student loan, it is not held by the Department of Ed. It's held by a Navient or a private servicer. You will know when you log into studentaid.gov where it says it has your loan on the list of loans. It will tell you if it's Department of Ed loan or not. If you don't see Department of Ed by your loan, you need to take the time to consolidate. And yes, I mean, make the decision. You consolidating, it may cause your interest rate to increase. It may stay the same, or it may decrease. It depends on your particular loan, when you took it out, and what the interest rate was when it happened. But for me, it was well worth it for me to get my loans forgiven, to have extra point of interest on it, because I never anticipate I'm not going to be paying it because it's going to be canceled. So again, you have to weigh it out for yourself. But I've heard people saying, oh, consolidate, then your interest is going to go. It's going to tell you when you apply, before they put anything through, they're going to send you all of the information. You're going to be working with your servicer, and they're going to tell you what it's going to look like. It's going to tell you what your payments are going to look like. So everything is transparent. You can see everything. It was worth it to me because as long as my loans were under Navient, I was missing out on everything. Right? So my graduate loans were already eligible, but my undergraduate loans were not. Now, here's another thing that I found out with my research. Even though my graduate loan was held with the Department of Ed, I guess based on when it was held with the Department of Ed, when I said I wanted my loans under SAVE, they told me it was not eligible. That loan was not eligible. So don't assume your loan type is eligible for the SAVE program. They said, ma'am, that is not eligible. Some of these are, because for most of us, it's not one loan. You may have 4 or 5 or 6 loans parsed out, right? They're separated, but they're for your undergrad or they're 4-year graduate. That's what happened to me. I said, okay, what do I need to do? I want all my loans to qualify for SAVE. So she told me what to do. So I had to consolidate. So I said, okay, I want to consolidate all of my loans, all of them, undergraduate and graduate, into one loan. Meaning, go grab my Navient loan, go grab this one, don't qualify for SAVE, and you're going to consolidate them all. So I qualify for SAVE and any other forgiveness program that's coming. And unfortunately, Navient isn't going to tell you to go consolidate your loan and leave them. Meanwhile, your loans will never be forgiven, or they will be forgiven 25 years from now when they could be forgiven this year or next. I mean, it's really unfortunate that they should really be sending out a letter telling everybody that where they're holding their loans, that to go and consolidate them into a Department of Ed loan, but they're not doing it. So I'm doing it. And I'm encouraging you, if you're watching this video, to tag another student loan borrower, share this video with them, tell them about these programs that exist and to watch it so they know what action they need to take. You don't even have to tell them. Just have them watch the video. That will tell them, but based on their student loan, what category they fall into, what it is they need to do. And unfortunately, I hope this video goes viral, but these are the videos that need to go viral because people need to see them. Because I don't want anyone to be left out, but unfortunately, there are going to be people left out because their deadline is April 30th to consolidate to be eligible for the one-time adjustment. Okay? So that you can get the student loan forgiveness. All these things are happening in the meantime, while we're waiting on the new plan to take effect. Now, the new plan, when it takes effect, if you've been paying 20 years or more, it doesn't matter if you're on IDR or not. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're on the income-driven plan or not. If you've been paying for 20 years, you're going to get forgiveness. However, every time I research, even when the initial plan, the mass forgiveness of $20,000 that was shut down by the Supreme Court, what I realized is my loan with Navient would not have been eligible. I was already approved for that had it passed, had the Supreme Court passed it, approved it, but they didn't. But if they had, my undergraduate would have been left behind because it is with Navient. So I would not risk it at all. I would go ahead and consolidate to a Department of Ed loan. This is not to go consolidate with some private servicer. This is with the Department of Ed. You can do it for free. It does not cost you anything to contact your servicer or apply through the Department of Education. Studentaid.gov should be your best friend. That's where all the updates are. So be mindful to just check in like maybe once a month on what is happening new. They send you little updates and reminders. And they usually make them very bold in red, or they make it very clear that there's a new update, a new change, something that you need to be aware of or mindful of. But these forgiveness programs are real. There are programs even that I have not mentioned today that they've been here forever. They just have not worked. I mean, when you think about the fact that millions of people have been eligible over several years, let's just say the last 20 years for PSLF, and only 7,000 have been approved for forgiveness, that's ridiculous. So they're fixing these things that are getting us the forgiveness that we've been waiting on, that we've been needing, so that people that should have gotten forgiveness are not in default for something that should have been forgiven 10 and 20 years ago. That's why you're seeing the forgiveness. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I want to make sure that I'm not missing out. I'm just going missing anything. I want to just give the reminder that September 30th is the deadline. I think it's September the 30th for a fresh start. So if you are in default, you don't have to be. You need to apply for the Fresh Start program. Information is on studentaid.gov. Again, all of these programs you may not have ever heard of. I walk through every single program step by step with exactly what steps you need to take to get forgiveness under these programs. And we heard about the permanent, total and permanent disability. If you are total and permanent disabled, they have made it easier for you to get forgiveness under the program. And there's different qualifiers. So there's people, again, right now, you may have family members. Even if you're not a student on bar, you don't have one, you have a family member that probably does. Please share this video broadcast with them so that they know what is happening. So these are key dates. I've done several videos. I did another video maybe about 2 weeks ago to bring even up to speed on existing programs and some of the deadlines. But these are some of the most important deadlines. So just in a few days, you will not have another opportunity to consolidate. And the other benefit of consolidating is that you're not going to lose your time. So typically, if you consolidate your loan and say you've been on a program for 10 years and you consolidate, well, it's like starting from scratch. You will lose the 10 years. Who wants to do that? So right now, you can consolidate without losing your years and get the one-time credit adjustment. That's why it's so significant. So I hope you all take action on the information I've said. If your loan is with the Department of Ed, then there's nothing you have to do. If you have not enrolled in SAVE, then you need to be enrolling in SAVE. Because even the ones that, if your loan was $10,000 or less, when you originated that loan, $10,000 or less, and you're in SAVE and you've been paying 10 years, they're going to wipe it out. They're going to wipe it out. They already started wiping it out early in February. So you may be one of those people. But again, if you meet the qualification, but you are not on SAVE, it's not going to be wiped out. They use, the data to do the sweeps, and they're going to say, okay, this loan, is it at the 10? Was it 10,000 or under? Did they meet the 10 years? It's going to be 10 years. 10 years, yes. Was it 10,000 or less, or 12,000 or less? Yes, but no to SAVE. And because it's no to SAVE, you're going to be ineligible to have it forgiven. So why not just get in SAVE so it would be eligible forgiveness? It is the best, most affordable IDR plan that is out there. It's the newest plan, and everything, all of these programs are tied to being in the SAVE program. It's going to save you money for those of you that are already paying. I'm in SAVE, I pay $0. And that $0 is not like I'm not paying, is me being set at $0 for my income, but it's like I'm paying because my payment is $0 every month. So like I just said, interest is not accruing, and I'm not getting penalized for not paying because my payment is set to $0, because that's what my income dictates. Now, this is another thing. One last thing that I want to mention is that at any time you experience a change in your income. So say you have your student loan payments, and your income change. You're like, okay, I can't pay this because my income changed. It is your responsibility to reach out to your servicer and let them know you have an income change, so then they can update the system, update your payments. So you might right now be set to pay at an amount that you don't need to pay at because your income changed, but it's simply you did not inform them of the change. Anytime I have a change, I let them know of the changes, because why am I going to pay a higher amount based on money I'm no longer earning at this point in time? So they will make the adjustment, but they can't do it without you initiating the action and letting them know, hey, my income is not what it was. I need this to change. So let me submit my income verification. I've gone through the process, so I can tell you it's a simple process. Just submit whatever your pay stubs or your self-employment information and let them know, hey, my income has changed. But we have to know there's actions that we need to take, that we have to hold ourselves accountable for. When they say, give benefits and there's a timeline, it's upon us to take the action within the timeline. I can't tell you how many people continue to miss out on stuff because they wait till the last minute. And waiting till the last, there's no guarantee. So, but I would say still try. But they said that it really needs to be consolidated by April 30th. So it can take up to 60 days for some of these servicers to process your application. So why wait till the last minute? But if you're just finding out about this, I would go ahead and do it. There is possible there may be an extension, but I wouldn't count on it. Right? So they extended it once. I don't know that they will extend the deadline again on the adjustment. If they do, I will let you know, but I wouldn't wait for it. People waited for another extension for EIDL and PPP and all this, and they never got it. It never came. So you gotta take advantage of the programs and the benefits while they are available. So I think I gave you all the information. So this is available on replay. We never delete these videos. So if you're just coming in, I will go back to the beginning, catch anything that you missed. You can go back to any of our other student loan videos for additional resources and information. Again, our workshop is in the description. It's $25. I think it's a 3-hour long workshop that I did. And one of the ladies that was at the workshop, she got, I think, over 30,000. No, it was more than 30,000, but there was like 30,000. One thing, she qualified for PSLF and she didn't know. She didn't know how to go about getting her employment verified so that she can qualify or be eligible for PSLF, or that employment being eligible for PSLF. So there's many of you out there that didn't know. If you work for public service, maybe you work for a school, or you work for a public hospital, a public college, public university, a public high school, fire department, military, police officer, the teacher. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Working for a nonprofit, any type of public service. So think about work that you have done. If you have, go to studentaid.gov, use the employer verification tool to see if the employer you worked at is eligible for PSLF. Get that verified and submit your PSLF, submit it for your PSLF application so you can get your forgiveness. Now, I see you all out there. Hey, lady 1M365, Tamara, Robin, Kimberly, JJ, Jack. I see you all out there. Yes, I see you all out there. Do I have to consolidate with the DOE before applying for SAVE? Yes. Yes. So I would do that. And I would just talk to your servicer. They are very helpful. Like I'm with NailNet. But again, I reached out to them way early when they first moved my loan from Great Lakes Borrowers to NailNet, and they told me I reached out to them. So, and I started the process early as soon as I got the information. So people that started later, now everybody's bombarding them. It's taking a little bit longer. But my process, it went smoothly. I've always been able to get in contact with my servicer and get the information that I needed. So just make sure you're talking to them. If you want to just double check anything that I'm saying, then your servicer should be able to inform you. Now, I can tell you they are not very knowledgeable. They know about the credit adjustment, but how knowledgeable they are about the breakdown and when you're going to be next in line to have yours forgiven, they don't know any of that information. Even the Department of Education, they don't know the order that they're issuing forgiveness. There's a sweep going on. Because I reached out to them. So because I know I'm in line. I don't know where I am in that long line, but I know I'm in line and I'm checking my emails on a regular basis for that. Congratulations, your student loan has been forgiven email. Okay, so I want that email. Like many of my peers have gotten that email, and I'm looking forward to it. And I check for that on a regular basis. So look forward to it. So many of you are, you're going to have your student loans forgiven. When you get them forgiven, as they're forgiven, please let us know. Send us an email at hello@shebosstalk.com, because we want to celebrate you and your forgiveness and give you a shout out, because it's a great accomplishment. How freeing is that, to have your student loan forgiveness and being able to free up that money to do other things with it, to go live the life you want to live, to go start a business or grow the business that you have, or spend it on your children, or take a trip or vacation, and build, or go put it towards investments and building your legacy. These are the things that we can do when you're not burdened by debt. So again, I hope this has been helpful information. I'll continue to keep you all updated. Until next time, I hope you all have the rest of your week is great and productive. Continue to be the bosses with amplified impact, and have a great day.